Hello, everybody. It's Joey. It's just another day of Halloween horror watch-a-thon. I don't know. Somehow Phil Collins got in my head, and I thought, let's put it into the title. Let's put it into the intro of the video. How's it going, everybody? So, this is another one. I didn't expect to watch it first, but it's still easing my way into the horror stuff. I know I gotta go through a lot of the ones you guys said, and even the ones that I've had jotted down before this month. But I saw this on TV. It was in a marathon. It didn't seem like it was in a series from what I've researched. So I'm like, okay, I'm not missing anything here. Might as well try it. I've never watched a kaiju monster film except for the 2012, I think, version of Godzilla. And I don't know if that one counts in the same way with all the other ones, or if it's just kind of doing its own thing, or has its own thing going on with another series. I have no clue. I just know there's a lot of Godzilla films, but it's not just Godzilla. Kaiju monsters are a whole bunch of things, and this one was Mothra from 1961. It was kind of interesting. Many of these monsters I have no idea about as far as their origins or their powers or anything like that. So, with Mothra, it was kind of what I expected. A giant mutant moth that actually kind of felt bad for it. Didn't seem like a problem really on its own. I don't know if they're all like this, but this one, it was like just mind its own business. It wasn't out to terrorize anyone. I missed a little bit of the beginning of the movie, but I did do a summary or recap or something before that, or after the movie, before the video, before this video, to catch up on a few details I missed. Basically, some scientists went out to some paradise island, found this unusual species that kind of looked like humans. I think they were called geisha, or geisha. I'm not entirely sure on the pronunciation. But they're these very small human-like people. They took two of them back with them to study them, and there was this kid that was trying to get the two ladies that were in like a cage inside of a suitcase. I don't remember if the kid was just trying to like bring them back home, or if he was just trying to get them from the sciences. I don't know what his motive was. A lot of the human characters I didn't quite sympathize with in this film, or really like understand each of their characters that much. Again, maybe because I missed some of the stuff in the beginning where it might have developed that. Basically, the first act, I didn't really catch any of that while watching it, because it was on TV. It was in a marathon, like I said. So it just so happened to be on, and I was like, okay. So, with that being said, I sympathize with Mothra, because he's basically a being that lives for this island of people and made his way over to try to get those women back. He started as like a big larva, like emerging out of the sea. I remember that part. I thought it was kind of cool. Honestly, the effects in this movie, I get it. It's 1961, but I loved it in the most hilarious way. It's like, I know it's supposed to be terrifying and really give a sense of scale and destruction and things like that, but it was funny just the way they did it. Like, they would, from what I know from film history, from brief bits of film history, they kind of like try to scale things differently on like in the camera, or like they'll make miniature models of things to make it seem like, oh, it's really small and this is really big and things like that. So it was fun to see that all throughout the film, where you get to see like these Matchbox cars just, flying around, and, prop buildings that are destroyed. And it's like, did they even have a roof? Did they even have anything inside of the building? It just looked like one big slab broken up. I don't know. I love practical effects like that. I know that they're corny and they're probably like beyond, they're nowhere near suspension of belief. It's like, that's obviously fake. I don't care. I love those effects. They're so funny. And I'd love to do stuff like that if I could, in videos, if I needed to for a sketch or something. That'd be a lot of fun to set up. So this moth is not originally a moth. He's a larva. Comes out of the sea, starts crawling over the land. They're taking the entire military out. Well, it's not like attacking really. It's just kind of like going on its way. and occasionally just like smushing things. It wasn't really attacking anybody, which I thought was the most creative thing about the monster. It's like, it's not out to harm the humans. It's just a side effect of its wake. Or so I thought it was. But the military comes in, they got rockets, they got tanks, they got all kinds of ammunition, and this thing's just not affected. It's just not working for it. You see explosions go off of the side of this thing. It just keeps crawling. It's just minding its own business. But eventually gets to this tower or something that kind of looks like the Eiffel Tower. I guess it's a radio station or something, some kind of broadcast area. It just looked like the Eiffel Tower from a distance at the first glance. I'm like, what's that doing in Japan? I thought that was in France. And it crawls up it. Then it kind of knocks part of it over or falls off of it or something. But then you think it's just like, oh, we're fine. It's crumbled or, whatever. Then it decides, oh, I can use String Shot from Pokemon, which I know. It's probably a Caterpillar thing to do. That's where it came from. It's something that was just that's the Pokemon. I just remember seeing it with like Caterpie or Wurmple in Pokemon first. I didn't really know that was a thing Caterpillars did or any insects like caterpillars. So I just found it funny when it just started like spraying a stream of like silk or whatever, and like it takes down a helicopter. Okay, that time it actually is out for vengeance. It's like, all right, I'm going after you. The rest of the time, it's starting to coat itself to make a cocoon. I'm like, okay, good. We're finally going to see it as a moth. That's good. Because this was almost halfway through the film, I think. And it was a little bit more than halfway through the film, if I remember correctly, that it's just been a larva. And I'm like, it's kind of scary, but not that scary. It's called Mothra. It must be a moth at some point. Obviously have to save it up. A lot of the human characters, they're just kind of going around. They're, chasing back and forth with these geisha women in the suitcase. There's like a war room and they're trying to plan on what to do next. As the thing's making a cocoon for itself, they set up these giant heat rays, which somehow can directly beam light, just like a line of it, because it totally wouldn't spread out, physics aside. They set up like 2 or 3 of these like heat rays to try to, I guess, fry it inside of the cocoon, I guess? Okay, maybe. Look, I don't know military stuff. I don't know how to handle giant monsters. Sure, let's go with that. But it does actually break out of the cocoon. I think it's when the women start singing, and it's able, like, from a distance or so, still able to hear them. They start singing, it starts sprouting wings, goes up into the sky, and it's still apparently a distance away or something. I don't know why, from these people. So, but as it's going up in the air, it's like flapping its wings and giving the most catastrophic of demolition in the entire movie. Everything's flying all over the place. Some buildings are getting like smacked with cars, and the roads are cleared. There's like waves, I think, crashing. Boats are like, rocking out of place even though they're docked. It was kind of cool. It was, again, all impractical effects, which I just find fun. So it's nice to see like that distraction. I'm like, serves you guys right. You shouldn't have just left that stuff alone. Maybe that's what the moral of the story is that it's like, keep the indigenous stuff alone. Science, do it there. Don't bring it back. Don't take it out of its habitat. Otherwise, a giant moth will come around and fly over your entire town and destroy everything in its wake. Just because it's flapping its wings. So they take it out to like this big airport or something, a safe location for this thing to land. I don't know how they come to the conclusion that it's looking for these women or whatever, that there was a connection between them, because I didn't even get the connection while watching it for a while. And they bring them out to there. The thing lands. It looks like it has some kind of leg or something. I don't know what it was, but something for it to board. Something for these very tiny women. Like, compared to humans, maybe the size of my hand or so. They're small. Like, they in the movie, they're intended to be small. But then you have a giant moth, so it really throws off the sense of scale there. It's just like, are they on it yet? Are they still going to it because they're so small? And It's so big, you know? Like, how you know if it got on them before it takes off? I don't know. Apparently, there was at one point the guy was like traveling with this woman in a car. Before that, um, they get into some big crowd that's like going around the car and trying to stop them. Guy runs out of the car, runs into some other guy. I forget exactly what the dialogue was, how it actually affected the turnout here, but one guy gets shot, and I think the cops like run past him. They don't even tend to him. I don't know what just happened. Again, this movie was dubbed. No. Yes. This movie was dubbed. So there was English. I just couldn't follow the plot. I couldn't follow the characters enough to be like, oh, that's what's going on. Oh, that's why he did that. Oh, that's what's going on. Or that's what's going to happen next. I really didn't know. I was just like, here we are. My main focus obviously was on the monster. So, yeah. They did get back to the island safe and sound. And I guess Mothra lives there now as a giant moth. I don't know if it's like, does it just stay that size? Does it shrink? How does that work? You know, you can't reverse metamorphosis. But then again, we are talking about a radioactive insect from apparently the sea. Yeah, the larva actually was like coming out of the sea, not from. I mean, I guess maybe it swam. Did it? Again, maybe I'll have to watch this again from the beginning, because I don't know how it got from the island through the sea to another piece of land. You know, must be really good at holding its breath underwater. I have no clue. It was an interesting movie. It was a lot of fun just for, like I said, the monster and the practical effects. I didn't really care much for the humans. I should probably watch it again from the beginning to get some of the context of the movie and try to follow the plot a little bit better about these geisha women and how they were trying to transport them and who was on whose side about it. Maybe there was somebody that was advocating for Mothra and I just didn't know it. Maybe it was the younger kid that was, oh yeah, that they tied up and gagged, just left him there in a room in a big building, and it's like, oh, that's great. You could do that to like a 10-year-old kid. Fun. 1961, everybody. So, not really horror, but still a monster movie. It was a good time. Thank you for watching this video. Hope you guys enjoyed my review. I'll try to watch it again sometime later. I got a few more I'll try to get to. Hopefully I air them soon in next 2 weeks. And I'll talk to you later. Have a great week. Week, everybody. Not weekend. Weekend just ended. I always do that. Also, it's around midterms time that I'm recording this video, so good luck with everybody doing midterms, myself included.